What I'm going to do right now is share with you the single most important piece of legal advice that you are ever going to receive. I promise you that at some point in your life, you will think back on this video and you will say, damn, that dude did me a solid by sharing this piece of legal advice with me. It comes from, almost 30 years worth of practice in courts and helping consumers for years before that. I can tell you I've deployed it myself over and over again countless times, and it has provided immediate relief for me. And the legal advice is this. It's three small words: small claims court. And I want you to think about this. Every one of us comes into these challenges in our life. We bought a product, we bought a service, it didn't work out. We've been on the phone talking to these people, trying to get some kind of relief that they won't satisfy. We've gone back to the shop, if it's some kind of local shop, and they won't make it right. And you're frustrated because you know that you've been done wrong. This manufacturer, this service provider, this whatever, and they won't make it right. And unfortunately, in 2026, we live in an era where attention to customer service is becoming increasingly worse. There was an era, I think, earlier in my career where, government, state government, local government, federal government put a lot more energy and attention into trying to help and protect the consumer. But even then, given the powerful interests, there weren't enough. But in the good old days of America, there were at least some consumer protection laws out there that corporations were required to take seriously. I think there was a corporate culture in a lot of instances where customer service, taking care of people, was something that they strived to do, and in many cases performed admirably. Fast forward to sort of the last epoch of American consumerism, or the American experience, consumer protection laws that did amazing things for people. I think particularly about like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. I got to tell you, in 25 years worth of practice, I deployed that over and over again for citizens. And more importantly, I told citizens about this and gave them this incredible free legal advice. Report your complaint or your concern to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. If your mortgage payment was wrong or your car payment, something like that. And it amazed me how immediately responsive the company was. And I saw this over and over again, almost without exception. And that's what really made it extraordinary. So I remember early on, I would have somebody complain, to this Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. There's an online form. You'd fill it out. And then someone would call me, and I literally get this phone call from, Susie Smith, vice president of big national corporation. And I knew that surely Susie Smith and this vice president was nonsense. She was some call agent from wherever, and it was just nonsense. The truth of the matter was, it was not. I would look this person up online, LinkedIn or whatever else, and I'll be damned if Susie Smith was not a legitimate vice president. And so as I peeled back the onion on this CFPB deal and really dug into it, it turns out that the companies were so concerned about the regulators coming in and auditing them and impacting licenses and all kinds of other tools that the regulators have, that they set up war rooms within these corporations to deal with CFPB complaints. And I can tell you without exception, when a legitimate complaint was made to CFPB, it was resolved in a manner that left the consumer satisfied. And I think that even the company would say was a good thing. I got way off topic there. But the bottom line is this. Now we don't have those kind of protections. You don't have the ability to hold a bank accountable for overdraft fees. You don't have the ability to hold, insurance company or airliner accountable through those mechanisms. The one place you can hold them accountable is three words: small claims court. And the way this works is, no matter what the thing is you got to gripe about. Somebody sold you a lawnmower. I'll give my own personal experience. Lawnmower broken, go back to the retailer. They refuse over and over again to make it right. You keep asking them. You keep repeating the story over and over again, and they're just not making it right. I sued. And what happens with a small claims lawsuit is you got to tell your story at the front end correctly, right? You get one piece of paper, and I'm going to share with you a link in this video here to explain to you how you lay out the story carefully, correctly, accurately, tell the truth. Because when you lay it out once, you don't have to repeat over and over and over again, right? So you fill out the complaint form, very simple. Matt versus XYZ retailer. I bought this lawnmower. The lawnmower is defective. You kind of roll through what you did to try and make it right. I obsessively keep notes about who I called, when I called, what number I called, who I talked to. This is important because when somebody's doing intake on this at the corporation, oftentimes they can go back into their systems and they could say, oh yeah, this dude did call in, 15 times. Oh yeah, our system does reflect that he has a real problem here. And what small claims court is doing is putting you to the top of the heap of the thousands, tens of thousands of complaints companies getting about XYZ. Yours goes to the top of the pile, and someone with the brain is going to resolve it. If you've written it down correctly, compelling, particularly if you got receipts, email chat logs, that kind of thing, I promise you will get attention from someone that matters. So I want you to think about your customer experience today. In 26, there are customer experiences that are horrendous. We used to complain about, the offshore operators, right? Maybe somebody didn't like their accent or didn't like trying to communicate with this person in a call center. But I can tell you, with the advent of AI, a lot of us are going to wish that we had that call center back, no matter how bad the language barrier was or no matter how bad the audio on that was. Because the reality is increasingly companies are relying on AI to field customer service complaints. And look, it's getting really good. One of the things that people don't understand, half the time, you can't even tell you're dealing with AI. These voices, these prompts, this engagement that companies are deploying is extraordinary. And what's happening is it's getting better and better every nanosecond. They're crunching data. They are using, think about all the power of every computer that's ever existed. Emotional models, psychological models, they can tell at the front end of that complaint kind of where it's going because they've formed out decision trees over the last 100 times they've received that complaint, and the AI is already trying to figure out where this thing is going. Sometimes it works. Oftentimes it works, I guess, and it's getting better. But when you are in the position where you've told your story over and over again, and you're tired of telling that story, repeating it to one operator after the other, it's time to just hang up the phone and stop. It's time to download the information that I'm going to give you here, information about how you file a small claims case, write the story down once, and then send it off. File and forget, right? One of the tricks here is when you're on that 800 number calling and complaining with whoever it is, get an email address. Get a case number, hopefully, because again, when you file the small claims case, hopefully they can line that up really quickly with actual complaints that you filed in an incident number. But one of the things about small claims is technically you're supposed to serve the company. Now that requires hiring a private investigator and doing all this other kind of complicated stuff. I can give you information on that, and I will. But many times you can completely bypass that requirement. And the way you bypass that requirement is to get an email address and email that directly to the customer servicing. One other hack here, really trick. I will go the distance and try and find email addresses for boards of directors. And this is fun because it's a national, international corporation. And if I've got a gripe, Jamie Dimon, big old CEO, the legitimate CEO, he may very well get an email from me of this small claims lawsuit. And that, again, is another fun thing. I think about, just a typical consumer complaint down here in little old St. Petersburg, Florida. And these board of directors are sitting in some board meeting up in New York or wherever else. There's 30 of them sitting around a table in a big, tall building. And maybe these 2 or 3 board directors are going, this email I got from this crackpot down there in Florida about this small claims lawsuit. What are we going to do about this? And I know they got it because I've gotten email responses from the legitimate people, the big fat CEOs. Sometimes they ask, how the hell did you get my email address? Other times they just want to figure out how to solve the problem. So I'll continue to provide some little tricks in here along the way about like how you get an email address and how you email that thing off. But the important piece of legal advice here is this. Small claims court. If you come across a consumer complaint, you bought something, whatever else, you're tired of dealing with the phone, like and subscribe to this page. Ask for the manual that I will provide that will give you the secret hacks on how to get your small claims case filed and get your problem resolved. And again, think about this long video, 11 minutes long now, but it's long. I want you to think about this. You will remember me when you get this booklet and you file your first small claims lawsuit and that thing gets resolved in a matter of minutes of your time instead of hours. You are going to think back to this time that you spent in this little time we had together, and you will thank me. So hit like, hit subscribe. I'll send you that book. I'll give you the information you need.